It is Tuesday. It's September 26th, 2023. A brand new episode of the Kicking Out Podcast is live.
Sure.
Man, it's not even Wednesday. The Boiler Breakdown Podcast. I'm going to start having you do the intros.
You do too many podcasts. I think that's.
I do too many podcasts. My brain cells are fried from watching awful football all weekend.
Free plug for your wrestling podcast.
No kidding. Gosh.
So if you like wrestling, we got the Kicking Out Podcast live every Wednesday night.
It just came out like nothing. Wow.
That's time you caught yourself. I was like,
yeah, didn't even catch myself this time. And if you said something, I was just going to keep going.
hot out the gate, just like the Boilers on Saturday.
Yes. Friday. See?
Friday.
Oh, see? We're all over the place tonight. We got the big Broncos Bears matchup on the mind, folks. The Suck Fest of 2023 should be Sunday Night Football.
Yeah. And might as well repeat it for Monday night, too. The whole game on Friday night, I kept looking up the scoreboard or the ribbon board, looking up for other scores. I'm like, why are they not showing any other scores? I was like, oh, my God, it's Friday, which felt great on Saturday. Because I still got 2 days of my weekend still. But it had me messed up all weekend.
And Saturday was a good slate of college football games across the board.
Yep.
Especially the one up at South Bend was a classic. So still felt dirty rooting for Ohio State, but that's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. But yes, new episode of the Boiler Breakdown Podcast, streaming live on the Boiler Breakdown YouTube channel, Twitter, X, and Facebook. Go like us, give us a follow at Boiler Break Pod if you haven't already. And please give us a rating and review wherever you're listening to this podcast. If you're listening to the audio version, that really helps us out. There's more and more Purdue podcasts popping up, and we want to try to stand out. So appreciate everybody tuning in this week and venting with us. Let's see. New year, same results. 17 straight L's to the Badgers.
Yep. You don't even know what to say.
Just annoying. Just annoying.
Yeah.
But
is it the second longest streak in the Big Ten, or does that include the country? So
Big Ten.
Big Ten kicks. I know Ohio State over Indiana is quite a bit more. But I couldn't remember if that was country or I wonder where it stacks up in the country. That'd be interesting for teams that actually play on a pretty regular basis. Because there's obviously you can have teams that maybe haven't played since 2005 or whatever. But
I'll try to look that up.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know why I always get it's foolish. I mean, hindsight's 2020, but I feel so foolish for having some sort of confidence going into that game. It's like we even talked about until we do it. Why would we project a win? I know you didn't technically, but I know I did. But yeah, new year, same stuff. They didn't run on us as much as they normally have. Thankfully, I guess. But
the longest active one in the country is Ohio State and Indiana at 28.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All-time Notre Dame Navy was 43 from 64 until 06.
Wow.
Or 64 until Navy won at 07, I should say. Nebraska, Kansas was a long one. A&M TCU stopped playing, but theirs was 24 straight from 73 to 2001. Alabama Vanderbilt's at 23.
Are they in the same division in the SEC, or are they?
I think they are.
So Nashville's more west. I think Alabama's in the east with Tennessee, though. I want to say. I don't know. I have no idea.
No, Tennessee's with Georgia in the east.
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
Alabama's in the west.
Yes, you're right. Geography.
Wow, we had a losing streak to Iowa for 20 straight years from 61 to 80.
Wow.
Or we were on the good side of that one. Excuse me. We had 20 straight from 61 to 80. Yeah. Huh. Ohio State had 21 straight over Wisconsin from 60 to 80. Yeah. Interesting.
Florida's the actual game.
Yep. Actual game. Boilers lost by score 38-17. Purdue found themselves down 21-3 at half. It's becoming too much of a constant lately with Purdue's offense getting off the slow starts. And this team is not built to come from behind, I don't think.
No, not yet. I mean, unless they start adding more wrinkles to the offense, but yeah, I don't think we have the O-line nor the offensive playmakers. Obviously, we have Deion Burks, who's really good. Tyrone Tracy has shown some flashes. It'll be interesting to see kind of how that goes moving forward. I know, Lockeby's had some fumbling issues, which I don't even put the fumble on him this last game. I mean, that's stupid, like the forward pass, but also play should have been blown dead because forward progress. I mean, Tennessee would know all about that. But going to the previous game, he would have had some issues. But yeah, I don't think this team is really built to put up a lot of points quickly if we need to.
No. Another week, a lack of explosive plays for sure. Another week, we saw plenty of penalties and turnovers. Hudson Card was 21 for 38 for 202 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Tyrone Tracy, like you said, led the team in rushing, 8 carries for 84 yards and a touchdown. He averaged 10.5 yards per carry. Hudson Card was second in the team with 13 carries for 54 yards and a touchdown. Downing had 6 carries for 30 yards, and Mockabee only 4 carries for 26 yards.
I only touched the ball in the first half.
I know. He did have a long run negated by a holding.
He did
at one time, because out of his 26 yards, he got all that he got most of that on a 19-yard run. Deion Burks had 6 receptions for 73 yards. Rahman Yassin had 4 catches for 62. Sheffield 3 for 39. Max Clare 4 for 18. Tracy 2 for 8. Downing 1 for 5, and Mockbee 1 for -3. I still would love to see another wide receiver get in that rotation, but I'm just not sure it's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just from they're not confident in any of them or what. I mean, I'm not sure if anyone's really asked that in a presser or anything like that, or even to Harrell at practice or anything like that. And obviously there was the FAU kid who got hurt before the season started, who was primed probably to be number 1, which sucks. But yeah, we haven't really seen the deep receiver room that we've been accustomed to the past couple of years.
Purdue did have 1 interception. That was Batros Alessandro.
Yep.
Backup corner. Purdue had, I'm trying to see here, 1 sack. That was O.C. Brothers. Kydron Jenkins led the team in tackles with 9, with 7 of those being solo. Thieneman did not lead the team in tackles, but he had 7 tackles. And then Wisconsin got to Hudson twice, but Hudson was hurried quite often, had to scramble out of the pocket quite often. Hopefully, with a week under his belt, when Gus Hardwick back, hopefully that helps the interior of the line, helps everybody feel more comfortable. On the offensive side ball for Wisconsin, Tanner Mordecai was 17 for 27 for 174 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Braylon Allen, 16 carries, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns. Tanner Mordecai, 14 carries, 44 yards, 2 touchdowns. So once again, that QB rush is getting the best of us.
Yeah, we saw it early in the game. They did an RPO type play, and it fooled them once again. It was a little frustrating, seeing especially how as much as Schrader torched this defense a week prior. They definitely need kudos to Wisconsin for. I'm not sure if they had that in their weeks prior, but they saw weakness and they tried to exploit it, and it worked.
And Tanner Mordecai also had 1 reception for 19 yards on a trick play.
Yep.
And it's interesting here. I've never noticed this on the ESPN's box score before. Maybe I haven't paid close enough attention. It shows the attendance was 55,529 out of a capacity of 57,282. So 97% crowd, which is pretty good for Friday night, I would say. Have not seen what the crowd outlook has for this Saturday. I know student section sold out. I'm assuming it's not a sellout for the general public because I have not seen that.
I'd bet it's a little bit less than what we saw with Wisconsin, just from another loss, but also Illinois fans just don't travel. Wisconsin fans.
Sure.
And I knew they would travel well. They always travel well.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm sure it'll still be a pretty good crowd for a home. And the fact it's homecoming should help a little bit. And it's not a it's kind of smack dab in the middle of the day, so it kind of helps people who don't, maybe some people maybe can't make a noon game, or some people maybe don't like night games because it's too far to travel at night. So it's just kind of a perfect middle ground.
I love 3:30 games. It's just the worst part about it's trying to eat before or after, doing things like that. That's always kind of the worst. But no, I like 3:30 games. And for everybody who doesn't already know, that game this week and next week's game in Iowa are both going to be on Peacock, or the Peacock, as I like to call it. So you can do a free trial, or if you want to just spend the $5.99 for the lowest tier, you can do that as well. I recommend just going ahead and biting a bullet and paying for it, because you're probably going to need it for basketball season too.
Yeah.
So
they got some good shows too. They got some good
they do. They got good shows. They got some good movies, but the interface of the app sucks. That's why it glitches a lot. It's hard to find things. I don't know. It's just, out of all the streaming apps that I've experienced, it's kind of the hardest one to navigate.
That and Apple TV are probably two of my least favorite ones.
Yeah. But that's part of the Big Ten's deal with NBC. It's not going anywhere anytime soon, so better go ahead and just get Peacock while you can. Any other thoughts, Evan, from the game Friday night? I mean, Purdue did battle back. Yep. And I guess one thing I'd like you to address, since you did address it from our Twitter account, which I'm glad you did. Once again, we're seeing more and more comparisons of people comparing this team and this Ryan Walters era through 4 games to the 4 years of the Darrell Hazel era.
Yeah. It just pisses me off. I mean, it may be. Who knows? I mean, at the end of the day, like, God, I hope not. But also, like, it just, I mean, exactly how I tweeted is, like, if you think this is the Hazel era, you just don't remember 2013 and 2016 very well, because it was awful. Like, I mean, yes, this game probably mirrored that as much as more than anything. Just
maybe the final score did.
Final score, or just the fact that we got down so quickly, which was pretty apparent. I'm pretty sure Brom got down like 14-0 last year to Wisconsin too. So
it was like within 5 minutes.
Yeah,
we threw a pick 6, and yeah.
But it just kind of seemed like, I mean, I hate this. I didn't mean what I said when I was at the game, because I was thinking differently. But when they scored again, I was like, it's over. When I'm in my head was like, it feels over already because it's Wisconsin.
Right.
And some people like say it's not over. I'm like, it's not what I meant, but I'm just
right.
People in front of us who were friends of the Card family, they were great to talk. They were great to talk with, and big Hudson Card fans. As I was also, we were talking about his upbringing and all that stuff. But he seemed like a really good kid. They came all the way from Texas, which was cool. But yeah, it's this team. Yeah, and I even tweeted afterwards, like, this team fights. Like with Hazel teams, it was, you got down and you knew like there was absolutely zero chance that this team was going to do anything. Like, unless like they were playing, maybe in Indiana, Illinois, because it's the only team that Hazel seemed he could beat.
I was going to say, he never beat Indiana.
Right, but at least like some of those games were closer than some others. Right. Nebraska that one time where we got up large and almost lost it.
55-45, thanks to, I don't even remember, the Nebraska quarterback threw 5 interceptions. I don't even remember what his name was.
I mean, I get like, actually, I don't get a comparison at all. But it's just not like, it's just not even close. I don't know how to say. Like, it's just like,
no,
I mean, you're just looking at the service level. I don't know. Like, you're just looking at the record, which is one thing, but like this team is so much more than that. Like, he's like, I don't think Walter's in over his head. I think he has a clear plan. It's just, I don't think people are realizing like how much of a rebuild. I mean, it kind of is a rebuild, because like there isn't not a whole lot that Brom left that was, and actually someone I'm jumping out because I'm sick, so my brain's not working. But someone put on the message board I thought was actually like pretty spot on. Like this is the bowl game team, like
pretty much.
Like we're just like outmatched, because all of our good players were gone. I mean, O'Connell didn't play, Payne Durham didn't play, Jalen Graham was academically knowledgeable, which is another thing that we get in about the Brom Co. that what they did on their way out was just the lack of oversight on academics for a couple guys. Charlie Jones didn't play. All of our key guys were gone, including the coaches. So we kind of saw what we had to work with. And so it's going to take some time. I know our friend Craig Bowers posted on Twitter, like, when it comes to the defensive scheme, it's like, is Walters going to just stick with it, through the tough parts that we're seeing, just to get these guys accustomed to playing the scheme until he gets the guys that he legitimately wants in the system. Which, kind of by this point, I'm kind of like,
Yep.
I think I predicted, 6 to 7 wins or whatever, but it's like, at this point, improvement, consistency, fight, I don't want to see guys, give up on the game. So like, that's kind of where I'm at for the season already. I'm already kind of accepted that, a bowl game is we're getting,
it's gonna be tough sledding. It's gonna be tough sledding.
Yeah. Everyone have to win a lot of 50-50 games, which so far the 50-50 games have not gone Purdue's way.
Right.
But yeah, it's just, there's nothing, I think, compares us to Hazel in the fact that they're both coaches on the sideline for Purdue.
Yeah, Ted Berkey here on YouTube says, I think this team has great guys, coaches included, but it just feels like we are missing something.
100%, yeah.
And he also said Riker Fife. That's it. The Nebraska quarterback that threw 5 interceptions. Thank you, Riker Fife. Yes, yes. But no, I agree with what Ted said. We are missing something. And I agree with what Craig said too. I am fine with Walters staying steady to his plan, keeping his system. It's going to take patience out of the fan base. And unfortunately, I don't know too many fan bases anymore in the year of 2020, pro or college, that are patient.
Right. I mean,
this world's not a patient place anymore.
No. I mean, especially with like NIL and the transfer portal, which there is some argument of like, the 5-year, layout for a coach to, get his guys in, like that window's definitely shortened a little bit, just because you can get guys away. I still think especially in football, like basketball, I can understand that because a lot less guys, one player can make a huge difference versus, football team, you've got 11 guys on each side, and you can have one good guy, but if you got 10 mediocre guys around him, it doesn't really do a whole lot.
Right.
Especially when you look at things like Purdue, like they're not a team that's going to get, instant impact offensive linemen more than likely. Like, so we got to develop guys, so it takes some time. So I think, this is going to take quite a few. We kind of joked about it after the first game, but it's like, there's a reason there's like 7 DBs committed in the 2024 class. Like, that should say something, that, I'm sure they like the guys they have in the room, but they see a glaring need for, some better athletes.
Right. 100%. It's just going to take some time. And I think, to be fair, we have to give them through next year and then really evaluate things after the end of next year and see what direction it's going. Ted here on YouTube said the other problem is you see immediate success like Braum in year 1 and Prime this year. Fans get upset and say, why not us? Yep.
Yeah, but also, and for both of those cases, they both took over situations that were so used to losing. Colorado won 1 game last year.
Yes.
Purdue was going 4 wins or 9 wins in 4 years. So you had that mentality of losing. So like people, Prime is maybe because he's such he was such a big name, regardless if he was a football coach or not. Like, everyone knows who he was. Like, obviously he brought his son, which we knew that was going to be a thing. Obviously he recruited Travis Hunter, which is to get him, to go to Jackson State originally, but again, it's Deion Sanders. It's not right. That's a little different than Ryan Walters, who didn't play down.
And they ate some humble pie this week. They got demolished by Oregon.
But that's okay because they've already won double the amount of games they've
won, and they've made improvement. And they have made improvement.
And with Braum, it was like and there is an argument. I think Braum had a lot more coming in.
Yeah.
He left, which, again, credit to Hazelnut. They could recruit some guys.
They did have some talent. It was just the coaches were
2 quarterbacks who went on to start in the SEC.
and I don't even think it's fair to rip a lot of the coaches as I look back, because Marcus Freeman is the head coach of Notre Dame. Jared Parker's the offensive coordinator.
They have jobs.
Jed Heacock, who was only there the first year of the Hazel, he's a DC at Iowa State. A lot of guys landed places, but the CEO of it all, the head coach, was so in over his head.
Yeah,
that's where it just.
Yeah, and I think with Braum, he was able to come in. He had success, so he could. You got a bunch of guys, especially older guys like Kirk Barron and those types of guys, Juwan Bentley, who had sucked their whole career. It's like, hey, we can give them something to believe in. And then we kind of saw, after that even the Louisville game, it was like, oh, okay, this team didn't just roll over like we're used to seeing the last 4 years. And then
right.
the Ohio game, was exciting. So it was,
right.
Yeah, obviously. But I mean, Brown had plenty of years to kind of cut his teeth in the coaching range, which is another argument people have with, why is Purdue, why are we taking a flyer on a, first year head coach? But I'm fine with it. So
I think because Bobinski saw the ceiling in Ryan Walters. Yep. I mean, he saw the ceiling was huge, and he's like, if we pass up on this guy, he's got to be something somewhere else. We're going to be kicking ourselves. Yep. So, but yeah, Purdue's still looking to get that first win at home at Ross-Ade under Ryan Walters' era. Still looking for that first Big Ten win. Got a chance this weekend in a rivalry game, and it's always been for the Purdue Cannon, and geographically it's always been a rivalry. But I think this has the potential to really turn into a good football rivalry for Purdue against Illinois because of the Brett Bielema, Ryan Walters effect, the familiarity between the staffs, the fact that Walters took some guys from Illinois. The whole story about pulling up to Illinois campus in his Mercedes and taking Hudson Card away, just layer after layer. I'm interested to see the environment on Saturday because while I think these two coaches and the staffs have respect for each other, I could see it getting a little chippy.
Oh yeah, I mean they're both huge competitors, and obviously they're going to be cordial, and there's going to be the scene before the game of them talking, at midfield or whatever, and they're going to be probably laughing and whatever. But I think, deep down, they both want to beat the crap out of each other, like on the field, so to speak. Yeah. You throw in, too, with Walters taking some of the guys from staff, so you've obviously got recruiting grounds that you're.
Sure.
We got a kid already that was, between Purdue and Illinois. I think we're going to see a lot of that in the coming years, assuming that staff stays, both staff stay intact. So it could be fun because we don't really have. Obviously there's the bucket, which is awesome, but neither team is really ever like. It always seems like one team is pretty mediocre and the other team might be decent, or they're both mediocre. So we don't have another one where like both teams are usually pretty solid. It's usually like Brom versus Iowa, because that was always a fun thing. You had the Brom versus Boat Boy, PJ Fleck, because they were hired at the exact same time. There was obviously the thing of some Purdue fans thought PJ Fleck would have been a good option. Some people wanted him. So I think this will be cool, and the fact that there's already a trophy involved, which makes it.
Well, historically, it's such an even match. Purdue leads the series 47-45.
Wow.
At Ross-Ade, Purdue's record's 22-23-4. On the road is 25-22-2. Purdue has won 3 in a row in this series, and 7 of the last 10, and 14 of the last 20. So this series has treated Purdue fairly well. The only 2 years going back to 2001 that they didn't play was 07-08. They did not play, but they played every year.
Wasn't it? Was that Illinois Rose Bowl year was 07? Or was that 06-07?
It was 07, and also the Sugar Bowl year was 01, in which both teams were ranked in November that year. It was at Ross-Ade, and Illinois was victorious 38-13.
Wow.
And then the following year on the road, Illinois got the best of us 38-31. Then in 03, we smoked them 43-10. 04, the really good 04 team to start off hot, escaped Champaign with 38-30 win. 05 team got the best of them 37-3. 06 on the road 42-31. What I remember about that game was Curtis Painter ran like a 50-yarder in for a touchdown. I think he's still running to this day. 09 beat Illinois 24-14. 2010, I went to this game as a freshman. We lost 44-10.
Yikes.
2011 beat them when they came in here ranked 21-14. Beat them in 2012. I was at that game as well, 20-17. Hazel and Beckman put on a classic in 2013. We lost to them 20-16. 2014, Hazel and Austin Appleby went over there and won 38-27. Got killed by them in homecoming in 2015, 48-14.
This is the one thing about Hazel is he could beat them in Champaign, but couldn't beat them.
Oh, God. Yeah, couldn't beat them at home. He beat them for his last victory the following year in Champaign in overtime, 34-31. Brom got him at home in 2017, 29-10. Smoked them on the road in 2018, 46-7. got smoked in a awful rainy game in 2019, 24-6. Beat them on the road in the weird COVID year of 2020, 31-24. Beat them last time West Lafayette 13-9. And beat them last year 31-24.
Was the COVID game? Was that the first game of the season?
Second. Iowa was first game.
David Bell had the clinching.
And Brian Brom was coach because Jeff had COVID.
COVID. Yep.
So very interesting series when you look back on it.
Mm-hmm.
And here's an interesting note. I did some research today on homecoming games dating back to 2000. Purdue's record since 2000 in homecoming games. Can you guess?
So it had 22 games, or
yep,
is it 20,
22 games.
Oh man, I feel like a lot of times, like homecoming for a while was like a cupcake.
For a while, you definitely, I feel like, had the more advantage to kind of schedule how you want. Not so much anymore.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with like 11 and 11.
11 and 12.
There's 20. There's 20.
Yeah, so you got it. You got it. It was interesting dating back in 2000. A lot of these from 2000 to 2010, every year but one was either Northwestern or Minnesota.
Huh. I feel like it's like you always want to kind of schedule someone that you knew you were gonna beat if you could help it with the Big Ten schedule, but
yes,
or your request or whatever, but.
We won in 2000 against Minnesota 38-24, won in 01 against Northwestern 31-27, won in 02 against Minnesota 28-15, won against Illinois in 03 43-10, lost against Wisconsin in 04. I forgot that was homecoming.
That was a homecoming, and it was game day. Oh my God.
Yeah, I did not remember that detail. Lost in 05 to Northwestern 34-29, won in 06 against Minnesota 27-21, won in 07 against Northwestern 35-17, lost in 08 to Minnesota 17-6, lost in 09 to Northwestern 27-21, beat Minnesota in 2010 28-17.
That was the Robbie Hummel game.
That was the Robbie Hummel game. Beat Illinois, a ranked Illinois team in 2011, 21-14. Got killed in 2012 against Wisconsin, 38-14. Got demolished in 2013 by Northern Illinois, 55-24.
Yep. That one.
Lost in 2014 to Iowa, 24-10. Lost in 2015 to Illinois, 48-14. Lost in 2016, 49-35. Lost in 2017 to Michigan, 28-10. That was the Harbaugh complaining game. Beat Boston College in 2018, 30-13. Beat Maryland in 2019, 40-14. Did have a homecoming game in 2020, even though nobody was there. Lost to Northwestern, 27-20. I do not remember this one in 2021 for whatever reason. Lost to Minnesota, 20-13. I don't remember that game at all. And then won last year against Florida Atlantic, 28-26.
2021. I don't remember that. No, that wasn't the game that Plummer was hurt in AOC play because that would have been what TC.
That was 21. No, we played TCU in 19.
That was 19. Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah. It's 21. I remember after we lost to Minnesota, that might have been the game. Oh, I know what game that was now because I wasn't there. I was at a wedding. That was the rainy game we wore the gold jerseys. And that was Plummer's last start because AOC ended up replacing him. Then we went on the road to Iowa the next week and upset Iowa. Number 2 Iowa. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I remember now.
I don't know if I was at the game either.
That was the rainy, cruddy game.
Yeah, I don't know if I was at the game either.
Okay. But yeah, 11 and 12 since 2000 homecoming. Which this week is homecoming. That's why I bring that up. So about for the Purdue Cannon homecoming. Coaches that know each other very well. 3:30 game. A lot of interesting storylines. Speaking of Illinois, they are 2-2 on the season. They didn't play that great against Florida Atlantic, but got the win. They have a loss to Penn State at home, which is nothing to hang their head about. And they lost. They did get whooped, and they also got whooped at Kansas. Well, the score only says 11, but that Kansas team is ranked now, but they got whooped. Yeah. And then week 1, they escaped Toledo 30-28.
Yep.
Looking at some of their stats here. Let me pull up my other monitor so I can read
It kind
a
of
little
goes,
better.
their quarterback goes. He's kind of, I mean, he's hit about any team, but
Yeah, Luke Altmaier is a Ole Miss transfer. He's 77 for 118, passing for 874 yards, 4 touchdowns, but 7 picks. He has been sacked 13 times. Running the ball, he is their second leading rusher, 34 carries for 146 yards, 3 touchdowns. So he is their leading rushing touchdown leader. Reggie Love III is their leading rusher with 44 carries for 248 yards, 1 touchdown, and Josh McCray 33 carries for 121 yards and 1 touchdown. Looking at their wide receivers, Isaiah Williams is 24 receptions, 333 yards, 0 touchdowns. He, excluding Charlie Jones, he was the leading returning Big Ten wide receiver in yards. He had more than Marvin Harrison Jr.
Wow.
And the other wide receiver at Ohio State, that's name's escaping my mind.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yep. Like 3 names.
Yeah. But Pat Brown has 2 receiving touchdowns for them. And then Griffin Moore and Tip Rimmon, tight ends, have 1 each. And Malik Elzy, another wide receiver, has 1. So they've only thrown 5 touchdowns, but I don't think Purdue's thrown too many touchdowns this year.
They haven't. There's a lot of rushing touchdowns.
Yep.
Yeah, we should see. I mean, both teams, both sides have been, going into the season, both fan bases were claiming that their guy was the reason for their defensive success the previous year. And then to start this year, neither team's defense is all that to write home about. So I guess that the winner of that debate remains to be seen.
Yes. And to credit both guys, Illinois did have 3 defensive backs drafted in the top 75 of the NFL. So
shout out to Lovie Smith for drafting for recruiting.
Illinois only has 3 interceptions on the year. Sack-wise, they have 5. So not really getting to the quarterback a ton and not getting interceptions. Forced fumbles, they have forced 3 fumbles, and they've recovered 1 of those 3. So, yeah. They have not scored a lot of points. Team-wise, they average 22.3 points per game. They have 89 total points. They have 12 total touchdowns. Passing yards per attempt, 7.3. Total offense plays, they've ran 283 plays. Total yards, 1,579 yards. Yards per game, 394.8.
And this is a game I think it's definitely going to be in the 20s. I don't expect a shootout by any stretch of the imagination. Just with both teams' offenses not being great, for lack of a better term. But I think it's definitely probably one of, Purdue's better, I feel better about these matchups than I did some of the other games we played already. So
I think Purdue needs to play a little desperate. I mean, it's do or die time, especially if they want to get that 6 wins and get to a bowl game. This is a must win.
Yeah.
Absolutely must win. Looking here to compare Purdue and Illinois' penalties. Purdue has had 29 penalties for 283 yards, average penalty yards per game 70. Illinois had 28 penalties for 277 yards, average penalties per game 69. So about dead even as you can be.
It's gonna be a rock fight.
Average time possession for Illinois is 27 minutes and 29 seconds. Purdue's is 29 minutes and 31 seconds. Purdue has fumbled 10 times. They lost 4 of those. I knew it was a high number, but we'll just see that. Yes, it's going to be very interesting indeed. Trying to see. Yeah, Purdue's only passed for 3 touchdowns, and those are all to Dean Burks.
Yep.
So, time to get some other guys in the mix. Hopefully, this week we see Garrett Miller get kind of right. He's definitely not himself out there.
Well, yeah, then you had that injury with his finger.
Yeah.
I saw him pulling stuff out. I was like, man, what are you doing?
I did too.
And then I was like, oh, that's okay. I get it. Yeah.
Your finger's literally bent. It's hard to do anything, let alone catch a football when it's like that.
You like to see him get involved more. Like to see Sheffield get more touches. I mean, Max Clare take another step. See if we can get him more involved. I mean, he's been great already, just being a freshman. So, yeah, looking to see what we can do.
Yep. And maybe this team just needs another win. I mean, Christopher on Facebook says Yassine. Yep. Nice to nice to get him in the end zone.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he's been pretty. I like to see him break one. He's been pretty standard, like catch it and then immediately get tackled, which is fine.
Yep.
We need those guys, Mr. Reliable, but I like to see him bust one for a touchdown or something.
Yeah, he's been the guy to move the chains for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully the defense plays like they did in the second half. A lot of bend but don't break, which I can deal with that, giving up field goals. And hopefully it was nice to see Kydron Jenkins out there. I was really worried going into that Wisconsin game he wasn't going to be suited up.
Yeah, because it was all of a sudden so it was just like, oh yeah, he's not coming out. I'm like, whoa, okay, like, and then it was like concussion maybe was the.
I never heard what it was.
Yeah,
they were pretty hush hush.
Yeah, it's like, but yeah, it's nice to see him out there.
Yeah,
I'd like to see just the line get in the backfield. We didn't really see much, which I mean, it's Wisconsin line, so it is what it is. But we didn't. I mean, Mordecai had all day to throw.
Yep.
Go through his reads about 3 times before he figure out what to do.
Yep. I feel like and we did this against Virginia Tech, which is the only game we won. I feel like we're due to force a lot of turnovers in the game, and maybe that's what's going to happen this Saturday. We'll save our prediction for the end, but I want to know, what is your spicy bold prediction for Saturday?
Hudson Card throws for as many touchdowns as we've done all year. He throws 3.
I like that. I feel like he's close to having a game, not just like a good game. He's close to having a great game.
Yeah. 300 yards plus, and a couple
clean
touchdowns.
with the ball. Yep.
Yep.
I like that. Last week I said Purdue get 3 interceptions. I was not close. But I'm going to stick with the interceptions. We're going to have a pick 6 on Saturday.
Like
I'm not gonna give it to any single player, but somebody's got to have a pick 6 and get the crowd going early. So, and one special teams note: Freehill is not going to be kicking yet again this week. So Ryan Welcher said that in his press conference yesterday. He's not, which the backup did just fine.
Yeah.
So, I mean, did just fine. So, yep, looking forward to being back in Ross-Ade. Would really like to close out September with a win. Really wanted to have 3 wins at minimal after September, but can't do anything about that now. Best we can do is 2. And then got to take care of business and with some remaining opponents that you have and go get somebody that you're not expected to get. But I mean,
and the Big Ten West hasn't been all that impressive.
No.
Obviously we played Wisconsin already, so that one's done. But Iowa, just got blanked, which
3 first downs. That's all they had against Penn State.
If that whole 25 points per game average is a thing, they took a huge – they got to score some points.
They only got 30-some plays off compared to Penn State's 91.
Oh, my God.
It was just something ridiculous. On top of it being a rainy night and a whiteout and sold out and Happy Valley. They don't look good. Minnesota just laid a big old egg against Northwestern in a game they were up 31-14.
It was like that going into the fourth quarter, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then I was because I was watching the Notre Dame Ohio State game, and I was watching a little bit of the Indiana Akron game, and once in a while I'd check my phone for scores. All of a sudden, I just saw Northwestern kind of chipping away. I'm like, they'll make it respectable. Yeah. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God, they're forcing overtime.
Well, I think it was Kyle Charters. I didn't expect myself to be flipping between Akron, Indiana, and Northwestern, Minnesota.
That's when you know you love Big Ten football. Yeah, so Minnesota doesn't look good. Illinois, record-wise, they're better than Purdue, but I'd say they look a lot like Purdue.
Yeah.
Nebraska, can't figure those guys out for the life of me. The Big Ten West is – let's enjoy it while we can this last year because I know we always love it because, of course, we've won it once and we feel like we always have a chance to. But, they need to get rid of it because it is so much worse than the East. It's laughable. Yeah. It is laughable.
Yeah.
But,
well, then you see about like potentially playing Oregon next year. It's like just seeing what they just did to Colorado.
I
It's
know.
Like, God.
All 4 teams that they're, even Oregon, Washington's good. USC's, of course, good. UCLA's pretty darn good. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my
Like,
gosh.
what is that? There's that whole thing. Like, if Caleb Williams isn't like who's on pick, he might decide to come back and say, of course.
Well, for our sake, for either of our sakes, hopefully he likes blue and orange colors because we're sitting in the driver's seat right now, especially the Bears because they have the Panthers pick too.
Yeah.
So the Bears could really be in position to change their whole franchise around. But
football's great.
It's fun when you give up 70 points. It's just a blast, and your phone just gets blown up the last 48 hours by memes.
Well, the fact that the Broncos lost by 50, gave up 70 points, and they're still not the top.
That's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
And they're favored.
Yeah. Or the fact that, I mean, it was, who was it? It might have been Yellow Cats and Barstool says the Bears have now become the bring your girlfriend to the games you can put on a show.
Big Cat said that. I would have been interested, and I know we're off topic here, but I would have been interested if Kansas City didn't take their foot off the gas, what that final score would have been.
Yeah.
It might have been pretty similar.
Oh, yeah. I think it would have been.
Yeah, but the only somewhat joy I got out of the Bronco-Dolphin game was Raheem Mostert having a great game.
Oh, yeah.
Even then, I couldn't be happy for him in the moment because I was pissed. But
I mean, it was a good Purdue football weekend with Mostert tore it up. Rondale had a nice big run. I think Chuck Sizzle did pretty well last night.
Yeah, he had some decent returns. I mean, yeah. Oh.
AOC might be starting this week.
Which I still wish I could see if he's the backup because week 1 when Garoppolo's he had to come out for a play to put Hoyer in.
Yeah.
So,
fun to think about.
Karlaftis is having a good start to the year. Derek Barnes had a good game for Detroit the other day. So, yeah, a lot of Boilers doing good things. Good things for sure. Well, around the Big Ten, there's 7 games this weekend. So, a couple teams have an off week. Penn State, number 6 Penn State travels to Northwestern where they're 27-point favorites.
I think they cover.
Yeah, I think Penn State's the best team in the country.
Really?
I do, right now.
Whew.
I know that's saying something, but Georgia probably is, but the one game they played anybody, South Carolina, they escaped with 11-point win. Penn State's just, I mean, they haven't played the hardest schedule, but they've pounded West Virginia. They've pounded Iowa. They just look really, really good doing so. Louisiana at Minnesota. The Boat Rovers are 11-point favorites.
You think they bounce back after that?
I do as well.
Loss,
they are lucky they are not 1-3 right now because they escaped that Nebraska game week 1.
They did.
Number 2, Michigan, 4-0. Jim Harbaugh's back, travels to 2-2 Nebraska. This is a 3:30 Fox game. Michigan's a 17-point favorite.
I don't know. I'm picking Michigan, but I would, if you told me Nebraska won, I would not be surprised. Just given the fact it's at home, like they'll be that place will be rocking. I'm gonna say Michigan wins, but they don't cover.
Yeah, I like Michigan by like 12.
Yeah.
10-12. Indiana, a huge overtime win over the Akron Zips.
4 overtime.
Oh, yeah. 4 over, yeah, with a stupid 2-point conversion rule. That's the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
Travels to 4-0 Maryland, who is a 14.5-point favorite.
Yeah, Indiana, kind of like Purdue did with Schrader. They made Akron's mobile quarterback look like Michael Vick. Good thing they're playing a, pocket passer in Maryland. Oh, wait. He might be the... Would you say he's definitely one of the better quarterbacks in the Big Ten?
I think it's him and McCarthy of Michigan right there, neck and neck. Yeah, except Ohio State's quarterback showed me something the other night.
Yeah,
an impressive situation.
I thought Notre Dame was going to roll, and just based my short viewing I've seen of Ohio State, but yeah, they were impressive. I mean, it helps when you're playing against 10.
Well, it was interesting watching that game. I mean, for how much talent was on both teams, I didn't think either team played all that well.
No.
A lot of missed tackles, a lot of, incomplete drives, but that final few minutes was, it lived up to the hype. It was pretty exciting to watch.
I think Maryland. I think they cut.
I think they roll.
I think they win by like 21. I think 3 touchdowns.
I think they roll, and then Tommy Boy's going to be snapping something else after the game. Was that not the most cringeworthy video of 2023?
Man.
Ugh.
It's up there, man. Yeah.
I don't know too many Indiana fans that are still Tom Allen fans anymore.
Yeah. I didn't really know too many Indiana fans in the first place. Football fans, I should say.
Right, right.
Yeah, good for him. He's either gonna coach for a few more years or he's gonna get paid $20 million.
Yep.
He's a really good guy from all things you hear. So it's like he's not gonna do anything that's gonna get him fired for cause, like a Mel Tucker situation. But
yeah,
that can do a lot with $20 million in the city of Indiana.
Yes, you can. You can do a lot, $20 million anywhere. Wagner at Rutgers. I don't have a line on this.
I don't either.
Rutgers will roll.
Yeah. ESPN Purdue gives them a 99% chance of winning.
Yeah, Wagner is 2-2. Let's see what they've played. I'm just interested if I've heard any of these teams. They lost to Fordham 46-16. They lost to Navy 24-0. They did beat 17-10, and then they beat Merrimack 30-27. Why the heck do they play Rutgers? I mean, good payday for them, but looking at their schedule.
Rutgers is going to roll.
They play a team last week's season I have never heard of, Post University.
Do they play Kellogg University too, or Rutgers is gonna have 4 wins?
I know.
In September,
and they still play Indiana and Northwestern.
Wow, have they played?
And Michigan State.
Have they played Michigan State yet? Oh my God,
got to throw them in the mix now too. Speaking of Michigan State, they got flexed into the night game that was supposed to be us in Illinois. Night game NBC 2-2 Michigan State at 3-1 Iowa, who is a 13-point favorite.
Iowa, I think until this Iowa team scores a bunch of points, I say they're going to really cover like 21-7, 28-14. I don't know.
I saw something stupid, some stupid stat of like balls caught by their wide receiver. I don't even know if they've caught double digits. Something dumb. Just something dumb this year.
The first game was like their first opening drive, like first drive of a season was a touchdown pass for the first time since like before we were born.
Yeah.
We were 30, 31.
Yes.
Like that didn't seem real.
No, they've won by defense and special teams for so many years. I mean, they've had okay quarterbacks at times. Like Drew Tate was really good.
Yep.
But
had great tight ends.
Yeah. Great tight ends.
Dallas Clark, obviously.
Dallas Clark, Noah Fant, Hawkinson, T.J. Hawkinson.
Yep.
Those are just name a couple. George Kittle.
Yeah.
Really in college, he might have been the worst of those of that bunch.
Yeah.
But he's been the best pro. But yeah, I think Iowa wins and covers that. Top 25 matchups. Got a good one Friday night out in Corvallis, which Purdue goes there next year. Number 10, Utah at number 19, Oregon State, who is 3-1, coming off a loss to Washington State.
This is a really good game.
Oregon State's 3-point favorite.
I'm going to go the Beavs at home.
I'll go the Utes.
Barely.
I like this Utes team. Their coach does such a good job out there. He's been good for years. Number 8, USC, 21.5-point favorite in the Fox Big Noon game at Colorado.
What is this, third, fourth Big Noon game for Colorado?
I think the third.
USC rolls.
Mm-hmm.
Not as bad as Oregon. I think I think that
their defense isn't as good as Oregon's, but Caleb Williams a problem.
Yeah. Did you watch that full 5-minute video that Oregon put out?
Yep.
It was a good one. I like that. I didn't know anything about their coach. I know who their coach was. I like him. Big fan.
No, I had nothing wrong with what he did. Every coach uses stuff as motivation. In Colorado, talk smack all the time.
Oh yeah.
I mean, their players were saying on the field before the game. You got to hand it to you. So
I mean, kudos to Oregon for actually you kept saying talk with your pads because it'd have been so easy to just mouth right back, but they took it to them.
Yep, as my phone is vibrating with more Broncos jokes. This is just great. It's never ending. It's never ending from people. I would say I am taking receipts, but they're so bad it's not even worth taking receipts. Number 22, Florida, with Weird to see them ranked again, but they're 3-1 at 4-0 Kentucky, who is a 1.5 point favorite.
I'm going to go to Gators. I'm going to keep this thing rolling.
I'm going to take the home team. I'm going to take the Wildcats in that one. Number 1, Georgia, 14.5 point favorites at Auburn. Auburn is 3-1 under Hugh Freeze.
Georgia, but they don't cover. They don't cover that 14.5.
I'll take them covering. I just said earlier I don't think they're as good as Penn State, but I'll give them the bone in this one. Number 24, Kansas, 4-0 at number 3, 4-0 Texas. Texas is a 16.5 point favorite. Kansas has beat them a couple times in the last few years, but I don't think they beat them Saturday.
No, I think Texas covers that.
Number 23, Missouri, one of the surprises in college football, 4-0 at 2-3 Vanderbilt. Missouri is a 13.5 point favorite.
Vandy sucks.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Interesting one here down in Hotty Toddy, down Ole Miss. Oxford, Mississippi, I believe is where they're located.
You're correct.
Number 13, LSU, 2.5 point favorites at number 20, Ole Miss. So Brian Kelly against Lane Kiffin.
I haven't picked him against them yet this year. Not that it's worked out, but Lane Train.
Yep, I'm picking Lane Train as well. Number 9, Oregon, 27.5 point favorites at Stanford. What the hell has happened to that program?
Yikes.
They cover that.
I think they do too. I think they roll.
Number 14, Oklahoma, 20 point favorites at home against Iowa State, who is 2-2. Matt Campbell should have left years ago.
Yeah, OU.
Yep. Good for OU having a bounce back year. They did not have a good year last year, and they're off to a good start. Number 21, Tennessee, 12.5 point favorites at home against 2-2 South Carolina. This game could get real interesting because Beamer seems to tick off everybody in the SEC when he talks. I'm taking Tennessee.
I'm taking Tennessee, but I'm saying they don't cover.
All
That's
right.
a closer one.
College game day, number 11, Notre Dame, 4-1, travels a 4-0, number 17, Duke. That is right. Durham, North Carolina is hosting college game day for football for the first time. What?
You said for football. Like
for football. Basketball's every single year, but Notre Dame is a 5.5 point favorite.
I think Notre Dame is really pissed off in this one. I think they take it to them.
I'm taking Duke. And I took Duke. I took Duke on my other podcast in the preseason in this game. I picked Duke third in the ACC. They probably won't do it, but I'm taking Duke. So
I love it.
Number 12, Alabama, who hasn't looked that good. 3-1 at 2-2 Mississippi State, who Alabama is a 14.5 point favorite. I think they win pretty easily.
Yeah.
And two more here. Number 7, Washington, 4-0 at surprisingly 3-1 Arizona. Washington is an 18 point favorite.
Washington's really good. They took it to
Houston
a few weeks ago. They blew by California. They're just beating the brakes off of everybody. So I think they continue that. Next week, or 2 weeks, sorry, when they play, they have a bye week and they host Oregon. So that'll be game day for sure.
The Pac-12 is really good this year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good teams in that conference.
Yeah.
Usually I make fun of Pac-12 after dark, but in the fact we've already hit on it, but the fact we're inheriting 4 of them next year. Whew, buddy. Yeah, I'm taking Washington to cover. Then lastly, Nevada, who is 0-4, travels to number 25, 4-0 Fresno State, who is a 24.5 point favorite. Yeah.
I think they cover.
Yeah, why not? Why not? It makes Purdue look better. And just Nevada can lose forever. I'm still butthurt about that, even though we beat ourselves. So, with all that said, battle for the Purdue Cannon, 3:30 on Peacock Saturday. Purdue is 1.5 point favorites as of right now. Final score prediction and even now? Oh, let me see.
That's what ESPN app has. Yeah.
Let me see the score. It might have dropped since I checked last. So I said 1.5. That was earlier today. 1 point favorite, Purdue. So it's pretty much a toss-up. Yep. Score prediction and MVP for the game.
Boilers 27-24. It's going to be a close one. I'm going to say Hudson Card. With the fact I said he's going to throw 3 touchdowns, I think that's going to put him on the top.
I'm going Boilers 30. Yeah, we get 30. Illinois 20.
Okay.
And I'm going Maccabee, and I should have put this as my bold prediction. He goes over 100 this week.
Love it. Would love that.
He went over 100 last year against Illinois. So, yeah. Any final thoughts about the football team before we switch gears here for a second?
No, just hopefully, we looked at that September schedule beginning of the year, so it's kind of going to make or break the year. It seemed like, and it's do or die with this one.
It is backs up against the wall, come out fighting, do some trickery, do whatever you got to do. Yep, respond, and rivalry games are important for team culture, for recruiting, for the fan base, for a lot of things. So. Go get them. Lastly, official start of practice for the basketball team was today. Zach Edey was not a participant. He set
Everybody panicked.
He set out with a concussion. That's 2 years in a row he missed the first practice with a concussion.
Hey, if history serves anything, he had a pretty good year last year, so let's book it.
Yes. It just made me chuckle today. I'm like, of course, right away.
I forgot he had a concussion last year.
Which wonder how he got it this time, but
yeah, how did he get it last year? I mean,
he got a bow from somebody.
I mean, did they climb on
him? Or jump maybe coming down or something. I don't know. But it was neat to see the basketball team at the football game the other night.
Got their rings.
They were the team of the game. Got their rings, looking all blinged up.
I forgot they're definitely. One for so yeah, they were all doubled up.
They were definitely feeling like the big men on campus, as I'm sure they are, and. This season, it's going to be an exciting one. The anticipation is an all-time high, but it's going to be full of excitement but anxiety. Yeah, I'm hoping I can take the philosophy like you are, at least trying to in the season, to enjoy it, because I'm afraid I'm just not going to enjoy the season. I really hope I'm wrong. Yeah. And I'm not saying that from a performance standpoint, because I think Purdue's going to be really, really good. I just think I'm going to get so worked up every game, I'm not going to be able to sit back and enjoy it.
It's like it sucks. You can't really enjoy the wins as much because you're like, well, yeah, we were supposed to win, or I thought we were gonna win, or like I thought we should have won by more. Like I'm pissed off when we only won by 4, we should have won by 12 or something like that. So it's like kind of how it was a couple years ago, where like the wins were mad, but the losses were the end of the world.
Right.
But I feel like this is a little different. That year, like we were looking forward to it, and we were highly ranked coming. I think we were top 10, but it's not like it was like. We didn't know I was going to be that good. Zach took a step forward. But this is like this year. It's like, okay, we know we're going to be in the conversation for number 1 in the country. Like, obviously, I know he's going to go to Kansas. They're loaded, but it's like
I haven't seen us worse than 4 though. Any of
it's like this. I mean, Mason. I like what Mason Gillis put on social media. Is like something sound like we hear you. So hopefully they take that and they
embrace it.
Embrace it. Yeah, embrace being the team that everyone wants to beat, because it hasn't really been Purdue for a long time. So just take it and beat the crap out of everybody.
Yep. Also, a basketball note, Purdue related. Robbie Hummel is leaving ESPN and joining NBC and Fox. So, which I figured he would. I think it's a perfect move for him. I think he's the rising star of the college basketball analysts. Out of all college basketball analysts, so I like that he's sticking with the Big Ten there, and I'm really interested to see NBC's presentation of Big Ten basketball.
Me too.
We haven't really seen NBC college basketball at all.
No,
it's been years since we've seen NBA on NBC, even though they had the best intro theme of any sports. So
I wonder if
they can bring that back. That'd be cool.
I wonder, with CBS, is he going to be with now I'm blanking on the guys who do the CBS games. He used to play for Clark Kellogg. Is he going to be with those guys, or?
That's a good question. Cool. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to shift things up.
I guess they'll probably have to. They're probably going to have quite a few more. Now since CBS isn't used to just be CBS on Sundays or whatever, but now the fact that it's going to be, you could probably have multiple CBS games in a weekend. So I'm sure they'll have a couple.
Now, we don't know the TV schedule yet, do we?
No.
No. I was going to say, I know we got the Big Ten schedule last week, but.
Yeah.
I would think that.
As long as I get him and Jason Benetti as many times as possible, I'm fine with that.
Got a YouTube comment from Carl here. I will follow and root for Purdue basketball until February 28th. Done after that, I'm age 65 and no longer willing to suffer the disappointment.
Come on, Carl.
No, I get it, but
get it.
New year, and one of these years is going to break through. Hopefully it's this year. That's all we can do. And am I going to be a worried mess of anxiety come March Madness? Absolutely. So, absolutely.
Before we wrap up, what's your score off top? What's your score for the Bears Broncos game? Since we both are your Bears fans,
we love misery.
The suck fest of the 2023
fest, man. I am going Denver. But going into this week, I thought it was do or die for them against Miami. I thought they had to come out desperate, and they didn't come out desperate whatsoever. Even though I will say the offense played okay. I mean, they scored 20 points, and that was with 3 turnovers. The defense was just so atrocious and quit so early on. And Miami just does some unbelievable things out there with their speed. They are crazy talented on offense.
The fact that came out that Mike McDaniels was who I love. I love Mike McDaniels. The fact that he was a ball boy for the Broncos, I was like, it doesn't end.
He was pissed that they didn't interview him when Hackett got the job. He didn't even get an interview.
Yeah.
And then Vic Fangio was the DC who they fired. And somehow Vance Joseph kept his job as the DC. I thought he was going to get fired on Monday because I thought you give up 70, somebody's got to take the fall. Yeah. But Sean Payton wouldn't do it. He needs to cool himself, too. He opened up his mouth 6 weeks ago. Now he's got to lay in the bed he made for himself. So, but yeah, score prediction, I will say 24-17 Broncos.
I was going to say 24-10 Broncos.
You think the Broncos win?
Yeah, Bears are bad.
I don't know. I mean, if the Broncos do lose this one, they might go a long time before they win a game this year.
Yeah.
They do have the Bears and the Jets, but then it gets really tough because that's the sad thing. Out of 3 games, Miami's tough, but Washington and Vegas are awful, and they lost both of those at home. So, yeah. There were some butt whoopings over the weekend. Unfortunately, our 2 teams were part of them, and my team was really close to breaking a lot of history records. They were like number 2 in a lot of categories. It looked like I was watching a Madden game. Not when I play, because I can't put up those stats on Madden, but man. Yep. Fun times.
Football's fun.
Football is fun. And if you're looking, we were talking earlier, 3:30 games are great, but it's kind of hard to figure out when to eat before and after the game. But we know of a place that is fantastic for any pregame or postgame meal, and that is one of our sponsors, Mad Mushroom. Boiler Breakdown is brought to you by Mad Mushroom, who has been serving Boilermakers since 1993. They're located in the heart of West Lafayette, and they're well known as the home of the original cheese sticks. But whenever Evan, Andrew, or myself visit, we like to sit down and have an ice-cold beer while trying out their latest pizza of the month, which for the final week this week for the pizza of the month for September is Rob's Bourbon Chicken. Topped with lots of chicken, tossed in bourbon sauce, onions, celery, mozzarella, cheese, and finished with toasted sesame seeds, starting at a price of just $14. So next time you're in town, which should be Saturday, stop in and tell Mad Mush that the Boiler Breakdown sent you, and you can get $5 off your order over $20. And if you're more of an online food order person, you can use coupon code BREAK5, BREAK5, all caps, to claim the same discount, $5 off any order over $20. That's Mad Mushroom at madmushroom.com. Feed your head. Evan's supporting a really comfortable looking hoodie with the band script on it. I got a sharp looking Purdue Pete football hat. Where did we get these from, Webby?
Got these from the shop. Boiler Breakdown is brought to you by the shop. Shop's been serving sports and hometown apparel to the fans since 2011. From their humble beginnings in garages and basements, you can find them at their 2 retail stores and online. They make comfortable shirts and sweatshirts, and it makes me right now because I'm sick and I'm very comfortable in this shirt. The shop is located in Carmel and Indianapolis, as well as online at theshopindy.com. They make the best shirts, period. Next time you're shopping online, use promo code BREAKDOWN for 25% off.
Yes, take advantage of that code. You will not be disappointed. They got a little bit of everything for you, loved ones, friends.
We're doing free shipping today, too. If you're listening to this live on Tuesday, I think we got a free shipping thing going on.
Even better. So. All right, Webby. Any other closing thoughts?
Just win, baby. Just win.
I'm not going to say that because that's associated with the Raiders. But yes, let's just win at all costs.
Yes,
Let's keep
sir.
the
time
cannon.
is now.
The time is now. Keep the cannon in West Lafayette. Let's get back to 500 in Big Ten play. Let's finish September with a 2-3 record and onward and upward to try to get that 6-win mark. So let's boiler up, hammer down, and beat the Fighting Illini.
Boiler up.